The company organized an employee trip, and my boyfriend insisted I join. When we arrived at John F. Kennedy International Airport, most of the employees were already there. The women were dressed to the nines, and the men were in suits and ties. As soon as I cleared security, I heard someone loudly gossiping. How unlucky. How did such a hick get into this exclusive gathering? My boyfriend didn't defend me from the humiliation. Instead, he deliberately distanced himself from me. I was about to ask him why when he openly embraced another woman in front of me. Being with Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, at least gets me out of economy class. What can you offer? I was stunned for a few seconds, then smiled with relief. I can make the plane turn around. 01 If my boyfriend hadn't dragged me along, I wouldn't have had time for a trip at all. To make him happy, I bit the bullet and filed a request with my superiors. Little did I know, my boyfriend would dump me as soon as I got to John F. Kennedy International Airport, all because I couldn't afford business class. What hurt the most was that I had already told him my identity was sensitive and I couldn't be too flashy. He probably still doesn't know how many eyes are on me whenever I go on a trip. Emily Green, I didn't expect you to become such a braggart. I used to think you were pretty down to earth, despite being poor. I didn't think you'd resort to such tall tales to keep me. I suggest you return your ticket before boarding. At least you can save some money. I was about to retort when the woman behind my boyfriend smiled condescendingly. Let me introduce myself. I'm your boyfriend's boss, Amanda Thompson. Everyone calls me Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. Since your boyfriend has already said what needed to be said, I'll get straight to the point. I've taken a liking to your boyfriend. Name your price. I looked at the two of them acting in concert and sneered. Judging by your act, I don't think I have a choice, do I? When I was at the base, my boyfriend had repeatedly called, urging me to go on this trip with him no matter what. I had even thought he couldn't bear to be apart from me. Now it seemed like he and Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, had planned this all along. As soon as I finished speaking, Jason White's expression changed. Don't talk nonsense. Amanda Thompson and I are completely innocent. Blame yourself for not being ambitious. Who can live on your meager salary? I was stunned by my boyfriend's words. Not ambitious? Meager salary? I roughly calculated in my head that, not counting the year-end bonus, I earned hundreds of thousands a month. The main reason he thought I was poor was that I didn't like to dress up. I couldn't tell him about the 5-year confidentiality agreement I had signed. Usually, my clothes were provided by the agency, and I always had a company car escort whenever I went out. This was the only time I had begged my leader for some personal space. Although I knew Jason White was breaking up with me because he thought I was poor, he was humiliating me in front of so many people. I couldn't swallow the anger in my chest. Jason White, we haven't even broken up, and you're already messing around with someone else. That's called cheating, you know? I stared straight at him, but Jason White didn't dare to meet my eyes, clearly feeling guilty. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, who was standing nearby, immediately became unhappy after hearing my words. She threw herself into my boyfriend's arms, acting extremely arrogant. What cheating? He already broke up with you. Stop clinging and get lost. With that, she took out $20,000 from her purse and threw it at my feet. Take the money and disappear from my sight. I looked like a clown as I watched this ignorant, rich lady. Amanda Thompson, right? Believe it or not, I can make sure you don't go anywhere today. As soon as I finished speaking, Jason White immediately stood up. Schley, stop trying to scare people. Who do you think you are, talking so big? We've been together for so long, and you don't even have a car. Amanda Thompson at least chartered a private jet for me. What do you have to compare with her besides your bragging? I can't afford a car. What a joke. I always have a chauffeur. Why would I need to buy a car? If it weren't for my special identity, I would have slapped him right then and there. My boyfriend's words immediately caused everyone to burst into laughter. Did you all hear that? A woman who doesn't dress well can't even keep her man. Especially a poor nobody like her with no background or money. Exactly. Look at what she's wearing. Her entire outfit probably doesn't even add up to $100. The surrounding employees kept sucking up to the boss, and no one stood up for me. It seemed like, in their eyes, I was a circus clown for their amusement. A company like this probably won't last long. 02 I blocked out their mockery and turned to leave. But before I could take a few steps, Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, voice came from behind. Oh, weren't you bragging a moment ago? Why are you suddenly leaving? I turned around and gave her a cold look. I have nothing to say to people like you. After hearing my words, Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, expression immediately changed. You little bitch, what do you mean by that? Are you looking down on me? I sneered and nodded fearlessly. I'm not looking down on you. I'm looking down on all of you. As soon as I said that, the place exploded. Although everyone here was a company employee, there were also some senior leaders. They all glared at me menacingly, looking like they wanted to skin me alive on the spot. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, was also so angry that she rolled up her sleeves and charged at me, but Jason White stopped her. Honey, calm down. We're above this. Getting physical with someone like her would only dirty your hands. I thought he was saying the T because he was afraid I would get hurt, but Jason White's next words completely blew my mind. Let her go. She's just getting in the way. My heart already belongs to you anyway. Jason White's words shattered my values. Jason White and I met on a blind date when I went back to my hometown for Christmas. I believed that I had never done anything to betray him during our time together. I even spent all of my precious time off on dates with him. Besides not being able to satisfy him materially for the time being, I had done everything else perfectly. But at this moment, the last shred of goodwill I had for this man disappeared. Jason White, I won't say anything else. I just want to tell you one thing. I paused for a few seconds, and my eyes gradually sharpened. You will regret breaking up with me, 100%. I was thinking of ending things amicably for the sake of our past relationship, but some people just didn't appreciate it, like the man standing in front of me. Emily Green, you're putting on an act again. Whoever regrets it is a dog, okay? Why don't you take a look in the mirror before you leave? What do you have to compare with Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin? You're standing in front of all these employees, brazenly saying I'll regret it. Keep dreaming. Seeing that he wanted to continue, I quickly raised my hand to interrupt. Okay, those words are enough. Remember this, you brought this on yourself. Don't blame me. With that, I took out my phone and called my assistant. Hey, get me a business class ticket right away. 03 The person on the other end of the line was stunned. Ms. Young, don't you usually prefer to travel discreetly? Why this time? I looked up at my ex-boyfriend and said coldly, people are easily bullied if they're too low-key. As soon as I said that, my assistant immediately understood what I meant. Okay, I'll take care of it right away. A few seconds later, my assistant spoke hesitantly. Ms. Young, business classes F. Only booked. Would first class be all right? I waved my hand dismissively. It doesn't matter to me. Just do whatever you think is best. Then, I suddenly remembered something and changed the subject. Oh, and have the airport staff kick a few people off the plane. I suspect they might harm me. I gave the names of Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, and Jason White in succession, and my assistant quickly wrote them down. After hanging up, I walked back to the gate area. Because I was used to having the speakerphone on during calls, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, was overjoyed when she heard the contents of my call. She held my boyfriend's hand with one hand and patted my shoulder with the other. Ashley, aren't you going crazy after being dumped? First class on this plane is never open to the public. Even I can't charter it. You're not qualified. I advise you not to force it. It'll be very embarrassing if you can't board the plane later. After speaking, she burst out laughing. I slowly raised my head and looked at her coldly. Don't worry. You'll soon find out who isn't qualified. Seeing this, Jason White also chimed in, not missing the opportunity to show off in front of Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. He took out 2 gold cards from his bag and waved them in front of me. See this? This is a gold card. Most people have never even seen one. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, got 2 without even trying. How can you compare? After speaking, he kissed Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, directly in front of me, causing another round of laughter from the surrounding people. Overestimating yourself was the phrase I heard most today. Seeing this scene, I was even more convinced of my suspicions. My boyfriend had already cheated on me. I would naturally not show any mercy to someone like him. I turned my face to the side, not even bothering to look at him. Seeing my cold attitude, Jason White's expression immediately changed. Emily Green, what do you mean? You dare to ignore me now, right? I looked down at my phone, my tone devoid of any emotion. Mr. Gu, didn't you want to break up with me from the beginning? Now that I've agreed, why are you unhappy? I advise you not to waste your energy on me, lest Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, gets upset. Jason White's face turned green from my words. Fine. You said it. Who cares about you anyway? After speaking, he put his arm around Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, and they started making out in front of me. The surrounding employees all took out their phones to record this beautiful moment. Only I sat quietly to the side, looking out of place. I don't know why, but seeing this scene, I felt nothing at all. I even felt much lighter. Just then, the airport loudspeaker sounded. Attention passengers, flight G493 is now boarding. Please line up to have your tickets checked. 04 Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, licked her lips with lingering satisfaction, then slowly stood up. Let's go, honey. We'll go through the exclusive lane. As she spoke, she suddenly turned her head towards me. As for some people, they'll just have to wait in line obediently. I sat in my seat and smiled dryly. Oh, is that so? Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, why don't we make a bet? I bet today's plane won't take off. Before Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, could speak, the surrounding sycophants burst into an uproar. Did everyone hear that? This poor wretch said she could control the plane. That's hilarious. That's the funniest joke I've ever heard in my life. I've flown so many times, and this is the first time I've heard of someone being able to stop a plane from taking off. These gorgeously dressed female employees formed a united front, bombarding me with words. Each one was eager to flatter Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. As Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, #1 lapdog, Jason White, was not to be outdone. Emily Green, what are you shouting about? Why don't you take a look at yourself in the mirror? See what you look like? With Amanda Tom. Sans, Ms. Shin, power, even buying the entire plane would be a piece of cake. I suppressed a laugh and turned to look at Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. Since Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, is so powerful, are you willing to take the bet? As soon as I finished speaking, Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, expression became playful. Bet? I, the dignified heir to the Shin Group, am not afraid of a loser like you. What do you want to bet? I'm game for anything. After hearing Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, words, everyone applauded again. Looking at the mocking faces in front of me, I couldn't help but feel disappointed. Was this their value system? To please their boss, they would say anything, even be rude to a stranger. If it weren't for the potential impact, I could have put everyone here on the airport's blacklist. I suppressed the anger in my heart, slowly raised my head, and scanned the crowd. You all heard it, right? The words of the dignified heir to the Shin Group can't be taken back. Whoever loses between Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, and me has to streak around the airport. As soon as I finished speaking, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, scoffed. What makes you think you can win? You don't think you own the airport, do you? A faint smile hung on the corner of my mouth. Amanda Thompson, you're testing my limits again and again. Do you think I'm that easy to bully? Even the Shin Group behind you can't afford to offend my true identity. After hearing my words, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, not only didn't restrain herself but became even more arrogant. You little bitch, are you addicted to acting tough? Open your eyes wide and watch carefully how the plane takes off. With that, she hooked her arm around Jason White's and swaggered towards the ticket gate. I naturally followed closely behind. After everyone had boarded, the plane slowly taxied to the runway, preparing for takeoff. Just then, someone shouted inside the plane. Look outside! The plane, which was about to take off, actually turned around. The cabin announcement also sounded at this moment. 05 Dear passengers, this is your captain speaking. Due to an emergency, the plane cannot take off for the time being. Please disembark in an orderly fashion. Everyone was stunned by the incredible scene. What's going on? Did someone not board the plane? That's not right. We chartered the plane, didn't we? There can't be anyone else. The airport broadcast was repeated several times. Even though Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, was unhappy, she had no choice but to lead her company employees back to the gate area. At this moment, more than a dozen ground crew members lined up in a neat row and walked towards me in an orderly manner. All eyes were on me. The corners of my mouth turned up slightly as I calmly walked to meet them. Are you Ms. Young? The leading captain looked at me cautiously. I smiled at him. That's right. I'm Emily Green. Thank you for your hard work. As soon as I finished speaking, all the ground crew members bowed in unison and greeted me. Ms. Young, the leader specifically instructed me to pick you up. Thank you for choosing our flight. I nodded politely. Oh my God, what's going on? Am I seeing things? Did you all see that? This is the first time I've ever seen the ground crew bowing in unison. Yeah, that's too exaggerated. Could this man be some kind of important leader? The employees who had looked down on me before were now staring at me in disbelief. I waved my hand casually and hooked my fingers. You've come at the right time. I suspect that some people here might harm me. Please remove them. As I spoke, I pointed to Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, and Jason White, who were pale-faced in front of me. Those are the ones who threatened me earlier. The captain turned his head sharply to look at them, then immediately took out his walkie-talkie. Attention, all police officers, come to the gate area. There are criminals here. Before Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, could react, she was already being held up. What are you trying to do? I'm your gold card member. Put me down now. Did you hear me? I'll call and complain about you right now if you don't let me go. My father is Robert Thompson, the richest man in New York City. Why are you treating me like this? Jason White, who had just broken up with me, received the same treatment. But he was slightly better off because he had no background and could only rely on the woman behind him to show off. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but laugh. Amanda Thompson, I told you long ago that you wouldn't have a good ending if you offended me. Do you know you're wrong now? Don't even mention that your father is Robert Thompson. Even if your father were the king of heaven, it wouldn't matter if you offended me. The captain had them brought to me and asked sternly, were you two the ones who spoke rudely to Ms. Young? Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, nodded subconsciously. Take them away. The captain's reply was decisive, and Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, face turned pale with fright. Ashley, who exactly are you? Why do these people listen to you? I smiled at her. Didn't I tell you before? You'd be scared to death if I told you my identity. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, had lost face in front of her employees, so she took her anger out on Jason White. A loud smack was heard, and 5 bright red finger marks immediately appeared on Jason White's face. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, why did you hit me? Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, glared at the man next to her with a ferocious expression. How dare you ask me why? It's all your bad ideas. Your girlfriend knows the airport staff, and you didn't tell me. Jason White looked at me in a daze, his eyes full of surprise. When did Emily Green become so powerful? I slowly walked up to him, rubbed her red cheek, and said softly, Mr. Gu, I'm more powerful than you can imagine. You just don't know it. With that, I signal the captain to let Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, down. Amanda Thompson, do you remember our bet? 06 Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, was stunned for a few seconds, then stared at me through gritted teeth. Ashley, we're both respectable people. Do we need to be so serious? I'm the young lady of the Shin group, after all. Can't we give each other some face? As for your boyfriend, I can give him back to you right now. Can't we just forget about this? I raised a finger and waved it in front of her. That won't do. Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, word is her bond. How can she go back on her word? So many of your employees heard it. As the leader of the company, you should practice what you preach, or how will you have the face to go back? I don't have much time. Hurry up and take off your clothes. Fulfill your promise. After hearing my words, Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, face became even paler, and she glared at me fiercely. Ashley, think carefully. This is New York City, the Shin family's territory. Even if you have a strong background, it won't work if you offend me. I spread my hands, looking indifferent. Seeing this, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, stopped wasting words and started making calls directly in front of me. Hey, Tom Miller, it's Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. I'm having a little trouble. Can you come and help me deal with it? Yes, it's in the John F. Kennedy International Airport gate area. After the first call, Amanda Thompson's, Ms. Shin, expression softened a little, and she immediately made a second call. Hey, this is Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. Come to the airport lobby. I need you to handle something. Don't worry, you'll get your share of the benefits when it's done. After the second call, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, started making provocative gestures at me. She went completely crazy when the third call went through. Dad, you're nearby? That's great. Come over here. Someone is bullying me. You're coming right away? Okay, I'll go. Pick you up now. After making 3 calls, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, stood up straight and regained her arrogant look. I waited for her to finish all the calls before speaking slowly. It seems like Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, knows quite a few people. Not bad, not bad. I suddenly changed the subject. Now that you're done with your calls, is it my turn? With that, I dialed the number I had called before. The call was answered within seconds, and my assistant's tone was anxious. Ms. Young, what's the situation? Are you hurt? I looked at Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, who was extremely arrogant on the opposite side, and sneered. Not yet. As soon as I finished speaking, the person on the other end of the phone breathed a sigh of relief. But before the assistant could completely relax, I continued, but the other party seems determined to fight me to the end. What do you think we should do about this? After hearing my words, the assistant paused for a few seconds, and his tone immediately became serious. Ms. Young, stay where you are. I'll send someone over right away. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, happened to see me making the call, and she looked at me provocatively. Hey, Ashley, are you role-playing with me? You just happen to know a few airport staff members. Do you think you're a big deal? My father is the richest man in New York City. My family built half of this airport. What are you going to fight me with? After hearing her words, the corners of my mouth couldn't help but rise slightly. Amanda Thompson, you don't think it was just a coincidence that I could make the plane turn around, do you? Being a rich heiress like you is quite a unique experience. 07 As time passed, more and more people gathered in the airport gate area. The onlookers took out their phones to take pictures, and even the airport staff were stunned. My God, we're in for a treat today. So many big shots have come. That's right. Any one of these bigwigs would be a force to be reckoned with in New York City. This trip was worth it. We get to see so many rich people that we only see on TV. I automatically blocked out these comments and stood with my hands in my pockets. One by one, the bigwigs appeared and went straight to Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, stood at the back of the crowd, bowing and scraping like a husky. One of the middle-aged men glanced at me out of the corner of his eye and raised his eyebrows slightly. You're the one who wants my daughter to streak. You don't respect Robert Thompson, do you? His tone had a hint of disdain, a hint of surprise, but mostly provocation. That's right, it's me. Robert Thompson didn't expect me to be so tough in front of so many people, and his face immediately changed. Okay, young man, I'll give you that. Although I don't know where your confidence comes from, I still want to advise you. In New York City, you better keep a low profile, or you won't even know how you died. I looked at the group of people in front of me without expression and said softly, Sorry, I'm used to being low-key. I just want to be high-profile today. My arrogant attitude quickly aroused the dissatisfaction of many rich second-generation individuals. At this moment, they must be thinking that the person in front of them was just a nobody. Why did he dare to talk like that? They were all itching to try, wanting to rush up and beat me up. But I'm the kind of person who doesn't respond well to threats. The angrier they got, the more I wanted to test their limits. Hey, you must be the person Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, called, right? You all have non-mainstream dyed hair and earrings. Are you even men? I can take 10 of you with one hand. Try me if you don't believe me. Sure enough, as soon as I finished speaking, these pampered rich kids couldn't help but rush towards me. I didn't even bother to dodge and slapped them back. Everyone on the scene except Robert Thompson had my handprint on their faces. And they didn't even touch my clothes. Who exactly are you? Robert Thompson looked at me with a grim face. I took out a wet wipe and wiped my hands, then spoke slowly. You'll find out who I am soon. 08 Just then, someone shouted from the crowd again. Look behind you. Everyone turned around. More than a dozen armed police officers stormed into the gate area. Robert Thompson was the first to react, looking at me in disbelief. Who exactly are you? I said with a smile, Mr. Shin, people say you were able to become the richest man because of your keen sense of smell. Now it seems that's not the case. As I spoke, I pointed to the guards who were protecting me tightly. What kind of identity do you think I have to be able to mobilize them? As soon as I finished speaking, the captain stood up. Ms. Young is from a secret agency. How dare you attack her? You're courting death. How is this possible? The captain's words were like a bombshell, directly blasting through the entire gate area. She's actually from a mysterious agency. Why didn't she say so from the beginning? Why did she wait until her boyfriend left? Exactly. If I had her powerful identity, I could have 800 boyfriends. Damn, if you hadn't said anything, I would have almost forgotten that Jason White dumped such an awesome girlfriend. It wasn't just the surrounding employees, even the rich second-generation guys who had stood up for Amanda Thompson were now panicking. They all simultaneously pulled out their phones and called home for help. Amanda Thompson, as the person involved, was even more distraught. She collapsed onto the ground, her mouth opening and closing, seemingly unable to form words. Only Robert Thompson, with a bit more life experience, could barely stand, but his voice began to tremble slightly. Ms. Young, this must be a misunderstanding. I narrowed my eyes and smiled faintly. Oh, the wealthiest man thinks this is a misunderstanding? As soon as I said that, Robert Thompson nodded repeatedly. Yes, it's a misunderstanding, absolutely a misunderstanding. It's all my daughter's fault. She doesn't know what's good for her. I apologize on her behalf. Just name your price for compensation. After saying that, he rushed towards Amanda Thompson and slapped her twice across the face. Amanda Thompson hadn't even realized what was happening before blood started to seep from the corner of her mouth. Dad, why are you hitting me? Robert Thompson, seeing that his daughter was still in a daze, kicked her. Don't you dare call me Dad. Hurry up and go apologize to Ms. Young. At that moment, in the gate area, everyone except me was sweating profusely. Jason White, who had been silent for over an hour, knelt directly in front of me. Tears still clung to the corners of his eyes. Honey, I was wrong. It was all my fault for being blind and underestimating you. I promise I'll never leave you again. Can we start over? I looked at him coldly and shook my head. Jason White, don't call me that. We've already broken up. Your current girlfriend is the wealthiest person in New York City, Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, who is much richer than me. As for you wanting to get back together, I'll return the words you once said to me. Dream on. Jason White's body trembled violently after hearing my words, and then he burst into tears. No, you can't abandon me. You promised me before that you'd always be with me. Emily Green, I was just temporarily blinded. I still love you in my heart. Can we get back together? Haven't you always wanted a child? We'll have one as soon as we get back. He begged me while kowtowing vigorously. No need. I once thought you were different from other men, but it turns out you're just good at pretending. Jason White, the person you love has never been me, nor Amanda Thompson. You love money, the power I possess now, the things that make you feel good about yourself. My words pierced him like K. Nevis, and Jason White fell silent. Amanda Thompson finally came to her senses after being kicked a few times by her father. She imitated Jason White, kneeling in front of me and even slapping herself. Ms. Young, I know I was wrong. Please, in your generosity, forgive me this time. If I had known you were from that mysterious agency, I wouldn't have dared to act presumptuously in front of you, even if I had 100 lives. Don't you like this man? I'll give him back to you. With that, Amanda Thompson rudely pushed Jason White to my feet. I remembered what the instructor who trained me at the agency once told me. The desire to survive is innate, and never be soft-hearted because the enemy begs for mercy. I always kept those words in mind. Amanda Thompson, it's too late to say anything now. I don't love him anymore. After hearing my words, Amanda Thompson's face turned ashen, and she turned around and started fighting with Jason White. You good for nothing. It's all your fault for seducing me. That's bull. Amanda Thompson, you were the one who said you liked me. That's why I broke up with Emily Green. The two of them argued back and forth in front of hundreds of people. Enough. You're annoying me. I have limited time. If you want to argue, wait until Amanda Thompson is done running naked. As soon as I said that, Amanda Thompson was immediately stunned. Ms. Young, is there no other way to make amends? Although I made a bet with you before, there are at least 10,000 people at this John F. Kennedy International Airport. Can't you give me some face? I pursed my dry lips and spoke slowly. Ms. Shin, face is earned by yourself, not given by others. Since you're unwilling to run naked, then I'll change the way I punish you. Amanda Thompson's face had just improved slightly when my next words shocked everyone. Choose, save Thompson Group or run naked. This time, before Amanda Thompson could speak, her father had already decided for her. Didn't why? Oh, you hear what Ms. Young said? Hurry up and take it off. Amanda Thompson, hearing that even her father couldn't protect her, had no choice but to comply. As the clothes were removed from her body one by one, the surrounding onlookers who didn't know what was happening took out their phones to capture this bizarre scene. I could already imagine the headline for the next day's news. Amanda Thompson, Ms. Shin, eldest daughter of New York City's Thompson Group, runs naked in public at John F. Kennedy International Airport. After dealing with Amanda Thompson, the families of those rich second-generation guys also arrived at the scene. They led their children to bow and apologize to me one by one. Their attitude was so sincere, their faces were almost splitting from smiling. For these people, I just gave them a few simple words of advice and let them go. After all, how can people grow without making mistakes? I just hoped that through this incident, these so-called New York City young masters could turn over a new leaf and be good people. In the end, only the employees of Thompson Group remained in the gate area. I didn't even need to take action against them. After today, Thompson Group would fire these people to cover up the scandal. At that moment, I was already sitting in a company car, returning to my original agency. Even if I caused a scene at John F. Kennedy International Airport, the news wouldn't mention my name, and there would even be people specifically assigned to handle those who had seen me. 5 years later, I completed the mission assigned to me by my superiors and returned home in glory. I married a handsome husband, we had twins, and for the rest of our lives, we lived happily ever after.